So today we're talking about this article. I almost talked with the Strange World article, but there was really nothing to talk about besides it's coming on Disney Plus for Christmas. I don't think anyone's gonna watch it. We're gonna see how well it does on that. But if it does better, it's like I'll be laughing. But Alita might finally be getting a sequel. I know the fan base hates me on Twitter. They blocked me on Twitter because I said Avatar: Way of the Water will suck. It's so funny that they can't accept opinions. Just like the Pixar fan base and Kanye's fan base, they can't accept people's opinions. Okay, you know, Pixar fan. If even if you dislike The Incredibles, you're not allowed to because it's part of my childhood. You can't diss my childhood. That's basically what they'll say every single time. And Kanye's fans, well, but again, I don't think there's too many of them after the stunts he did a couple weeks ago. But you know, this movie, Alita, we have a model. You know, it is a wash basically because yes, it lost $20 million in theaters, but again, it made $20 million on the Blu-ray and DVD. And it also has made a lot of money on streaming services as well, and for the tiny bit of merch the movie has received as well. So, tiny little, of merchandise. Aaliyah didn't really get merchandising push like, movies that made way less money like Morbius. Okay, Morbius got more merchandising push than Alita, which is pretty hilarious. Even look at the box office as well. Well, a lot of movies that came out this year, worldwide, like Sonic 2, made less money than Alita. Alita made $405 million as well. But Sonic 2, even Fantastic Beasts made less money than Alita. And Black Adam obviously did. Of course, Shazam did. But and even the bad guys as well. Right, massive merchandising push, but made way less money than Alita. But again, they're probably expecting more money from same thing with Strange World. But we're gonna exclude Disney movies and superhero movies. But movies like Sonic 2 made way less money. The first one made way less money. But of course, because Sonic is a recognizable character, I think it would be easier to push merchandise for a movie like Sonic than Alita, franchise that was unknown at the time. I think a second movie, they'll obviously try to push more merchandise related to the movie as well. But the movie might get a sequel, might not get a sequel. There's no confirmation of it. But they are now talking. They'll for Soko will do a sequel to as well. But again, just because the movie gets a sequel doesn't mean it'll make money. Okay, all we have to do is look at Black Adam. Okay, Black Adam is technically not a sequel to Shazam, but it is basically part of the Shazam universe, and that movie barely made more money than the first movie worldwide. Even with The Rock being in it as well, it didn't really do too well worldwide. It didn't even make $400 million. I think it will make $400 million at the end of the day, but it won't make enough to break even. So a movie like Alita, it's gonna probably cost a similar budget to the first movie, which is $135 million. But again, considering this is Hollywood, they'll find ways to spend more money on a movie that doesn't need to be spent a lot of money on. All we have to do is look at movies like Black Adam. Okay, Black Adam, the first Shazam movie. Okay, the first Shazam movie only costed like $100 million to make before the tax breaks, and that movie made a ton of money because, of course, it got the tax breaks. It didn't have the rigs it needed to make $500 million. As well, even though The Rock is saying the movie is profitable, if you got Shazam, which was the movie that everybody compared this movie to, it made more money than Shazam. Yes, it made more money than Shazam, obviously. Okay, Shazam came out in but made barely more money than Shazam. Okay, Shazam made $363 million worldwide, so internationally it did the same as Shazam, but did slightly better domestically. So even with The Rock's massive appeal, it seemed that international audiences did not return for this movie. It also made $43 million in China, which means it did improve internationally outside of China as well. But yeah, this movie, again, $85 million budget, definitely way less than Black Adam. Sonic 2, another successful movie that came out this year. Again, they kept the budget down to a minimum around $100 million, which is similar to the first movie as well, which they added 2 new CGI characters, which makes sense that it's more expensive. A movie like Deadpool 2 was way more expensive than Deadpool 1, but the first Deadpool had such a small budget as well. But yeah, movies like Batman, that movie cost $200 million to make. Top Gun only cost like $150 million. Again, you don't need to spend a $200 million movie, if the movie's gonna do worse. Okay, you need to spend a reasonable amount of money. If Alita 2 does as well as the first Alita in the theater, which means around $100 million domestically and around $400 million internationally, most likely that movie they need to spend on $150 million on the movie. I think that would be a much more reasonable budget than spending $200 million on the movie, excluding the tax breaks, which brought down to $130 million as well. Okay, and just because a movie doesn't make money at the theaters or makes very little money, doesn't mean it will not get a sequel. Godzilla vs. Kong was still made despite Godzilla King of the Monsters losing money. Okay, as well. Disney's still making the remakes despite Dumbo losing money and Mulan. Okay, Disney's still gonna make movies despite Strange World losing $200 to $300 million as well. And I bet there'll still be a Toy Story 5 that'll be made despite Lightyear's massive flop as well. So yeah, this is another video about Alita. We haven't talked about the movie yet because there has been nothing related to Alita, but there is still a lot of people who love the movie, and really the movie has kind of died down because there has been no sequel to the movie. The movie has kind of disappeared and has been forgotten, but I think everybody will remember this movie once they make a sequel to it as well. And I bet there'll be a lot of bigger people really to make a sequel to Alita, and really they'll understand that a lot of people have been begging, studios, not just Disney, Paramount, Warner Brothers, Universal, at least somebody to make an Alita sequel, at least somebody to accept a sequel to Alita. So yeah, that's basically this video here. Goodbye.